Hello everyone, this is Ifeyinwa. Welcome to Finding Africa, to explore and share the beauty of Africa, starting with folk stories from southern Nigeria. Why the moon waxes and wanes. There was once an old woman who was very poor and lived in a small mud hut thatched with mats made from the leaves of the tumbo palm in the bush. She was often very hungry as there was no one to look after her. In the olden days, the moon used often to come down to the earth, although she lived most of the time in the sky. The moon was a fat woman with a skin of hide, and she was full of fat meat. She was quite round, and in the night used to give plenty of light. The moon was sorry for the poor starving old woman, so she came to her and said, "You may cut some of my meat away for your food." This the old woman did every evening, and the moon got smaller and smaller until you could scarcely see her at all. Of course, this made her give very little light, and all the people began to grumble in consequence and to ask why it was that the moon was getting so thin. At last, the people went to the old woman's house, where there happened to be a little girl sleeping. She had been there for some little time and had seen the moon come down every evening, and the old woman go out with her knife and carve her daily supply of meat out of the moon. As she was very frightened, she told the people all about it, so they determined to set a watch on the movements of the old woman. That very night, the moon came down as usual, and the old woman went out with her knife and basket to get her food. But before she could carve any meat, all the people rushed out shouting, and the moon was so frightened that she went back again into the sky and never came down again to the earth. The old woman was left to starve in the bush. Ever since that time, the moon has hidden herself most of the day, as she was so frightened, and she still gets very thin once a month. But later on, she gets fat again, and when she is quite fat, she gives plenty of light all the night. But this does not last very long, as she begins to get thinner and thinner in the same way she did when the old woman was carving meat from her. Moral: don't let old people starve to death. Help them find food. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, hit the subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy the story, still hit the subscribe button because you may like the next one. Until next time, enjoy life. Finding Africa.